Steph Curry, odds-on favorite to win the NBA Finals. He's at a -150.
I'm taking him, man. It seems like he's due. Kawhi Leonard is second most likely at +200.
If he doesn't win the MVP of the Warriors still win it, that would be hilarious.
Kind of would. First quote. It has been a tough week. I've been working my tail off to get to this point, but I'm healthy enough. Said DeMarcus Cousins. So, Bo, should the Warriors put him right back into the rotation when the NBA Finals kicks off on Thursday night?
I mean, it depends on what you mean by putting him into the rotation. Like, you're not going to ask him to do this Andrew Bogut thing where you throw him in there, he plays 3 minutes, and then he comes out. Kevon Looney has actually been playing pretty well for them. They've been pretty good with him on the floor. Are they going to be good with Cousins on the floor? Are they going to be better than they've been? Is he going to make them worse? But if you don't put him in, who's going to be the one to tell him? Because it ain't going to be me.
That's the painful part of this, is that DeMarcus Cousins has been very public about how much this all means to him. And there is the part where he says, it'll take an Army and a Navy to hold me down from playing in this series. But there's the other part, too, which is the guy just signed a 1-year contract and is up on the free agent market immediately after this. So who conveys the message to Boogie that you're not going to play? That is a dangerous proposition.
Yeah, no, but I guess, to a degree, he has to understand that this is what it is. I think he's had to come to some level of terms with this, but we have not seen him play with them long enough to have a great answer to the question of whether they're better with him on the floor. In the playoffs, it was kind of gray, and there were times where he was out there, you're like, no, they need to keep him out of the game. At the same time, he's so damn talented. Even after all of these injuries, it's hard to think, even if the numbers spell it out, that there's not some place or some role for that guy on any team.
My understanding is that he is actually fairly healthy and you might get some of the old Boogie back. It's simply that the conditioning isn't there.
Well,
Steve Kerr was talking about how he can't really run up and down the floor, Bo. So if you're the Warriors, are you really that confident where you can rehab a guy during the NBA Finals?
Well, also, while you're talking about him coming back and, being the old Boogie, all this talk about your democracy and how you love all the ball movement, how's that work with DeMarcus Cousins? Because even when he came back for them during the regular season, he was back out there at like a 30+ usage rate. He doesn't really know how to be just another dude on the floor.
No, I would be extremely concerned that what he represents and what he brings is really admirable and really fun to have around, except just not right now. Like, not right now, man. I'm sorry. Not right now. It's the NBA Finals. We have this thing going. KD's not here. We kind of don't need you right now.
He's watching this with Kevin Durant right now, looking at you like, yeah, that dude just be hating on both of us.
I am very scared of them.
You're scared of Kevin?
Well, one of them.
God, you just scared.
Will Boogie's return help the Warriors or the Raptors in Game 1?
I would not bring him back with a lot of minutes. A big man coming back to the pace of finals basketball when he hasn't played in a long time. I would not take my chances with that, except very sparingly for a couple of minutes. Boogie Cousins already surprised me once by being better than I thought he would, given that a big man with that kind of injury usually doesn't come back. But I would not risk big minutes for him. He's got to be slow. That game moves too fast, and it never moves faster than it moves right now.
Does it appear the Warriors need help since DeMarcus Cousins has gone down? Since Kevin Durant has gone down, that's what makes them so frustrating, is they can lose those two guys and still sweep the Blazers in the Western Conference Finals. I wouldn't bring anyone back, Dan, okay, because that team is playing so well, and they're reinvigorated by playing without these guys, showing people.
Durant?
I wouldn't even bring Durant back until you lose a game. And I believe that this team will never lose a game again, with or without Kevin Durant or Boogie Cousins.
This
Don't bring him
season
back.
is what he means by ever.
No, I mean forever.
Forever.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Did you see Kawhi Leonard's reaction when he heard that Boogie might play?
What was it? Did he give good quotes? Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
there it is.
Yes, I get to eat at the rim. I'm hungry. Those muscles don't work very quickly on his face. That wasn't slow motion. That's the speed a smile happens on him.
I'm still buying that I don't think we're going to see him in the finals. He just seems like if he isn't practicing, and he's not, and he's this far away, and it's been 3 weeks, that he's not going to all of a sudden get close enough to go out there and play 32 minutes a night. I'm going to be honestly surprised if he plays in
So the Durant out for Game 1 news to you means he's out for the whole series. You don't think there's enough time?
I think there's a good chance the way this
KB,
is
how about
handled
you?
that he is.
Well, what I'm going to buy is what this means for the Toronto Raptors. It means that they have a puncher's chance at least because Kevin Durant obviously changes the dynamic of what this series is going to look like. So that's the situation there. And whether or not, when he comes back, whether or not he comes back, how healthy he is, how quickly he can fit in, those are all big questions. All of a sudden, Steve Kerr's got something to coach.
Jackie Mack.
I'll be shocked if we don't see Kevin Durant at some point in this series. I think the Boogie question is a lot more intriguing because, honestly, if you look at the numbers, they were better with Kevon Looney on the floor than they have been with Cousins on the floor. So Steve Kerr had already made the point. How do I work this guy back in during the finals? Right. Even if he's healthy, he may not.
That video we showed in the script here, Boogie looked like he was not exactly right around the corner. Woody Page, how about you?
Yeah, neither one looked like they're ready to play. And even though this series is going to be stretched out more than 2 weeks, I think it's going to be difficult for the Warriors to accept either one of them back. That Cousins really is a negative, positive kind of guy. Durant doesn't look like he's really pushing it to get back soon. He is making the trip
it's
to
amazing.
Toronto, but he's
you have a team coming off a sweep of their conference final with all this time to rest on top of that. But their job gets a lot more difficult when they have to figure out how to get these two guys in.
Cousins hasn't played since the Warriors' second game of the playoffs back on April 15. So given the difficulty of working in a ball-needy big man and that the Warriors have been great as they are, should Kerr actually put Boogie right back on the floor in game one of the finals?
I don't really understand this. I mean, the Warriors are 5-0 in the playoffs without Kevin Durant. Obviously, Boogie Cousins hasn't played in any of those games. They have gone back to the team that was so good 4 years ago and 3 years ago. They seem to know what they're doing. I would not rush him back into a game. Certainly I wouldn't start him. I mean, I might play him some minutes down the road. But this is a guy who's a big, lumbering guy who's slow anyway and admits himself he's out of condition. So it makes no sense to me, and I know it makes no sense to you, that you would see him in a starting lineup. Why?
I'm reaching here, and I'm trying to think of what is it about the makeup of the opposition that might lead me to do that. Now, we'll say this, Tony. You've got Marc Gasol on Toronto, a guy Boogie Cousins has played his whole career. These guys have been going at it their whole careers.
Right, but
and so you might want to have him in there.
Gasol stands 20 feet out. Right?
Okay, but situationally, he can't. Yes, Gasol now, he's almost in Robin Lopez land, like 25 feet from the basket. But you could play him with the second unit. I mean, one thing that the starters for Golden State have been doing, Tony, was probably playing too many minutes. So if you want to bring Boogie in to sort of fortify the team that way, I can see that. But disrupting what Clay and Steph have going right now,
Boogie Cousins was brought to this team as an ornament. Okay, it was an experiment. Look how good we could be with him if it worked out. You don't experiment now because it's really good without him so far.
Yeah.